Hi, welcome to our live stream. This is the second part of our lesson, privacy. So I wanted to start today by thanking everyone because yesterday I made it to 1,000 followers here on YouTube, and I'm really happy about that. Very grateful for all of you familiar faces and faces that I have seen from long ago. So thank you to each and every one of you who has joined. Hey, Alessio, welcome, my dear. Try to find a spot. It's very empty here. The classroom is full, ready to fill people in. I don't know who the second person is. We'll wait and see who that is. But for those of you who don't already know me, let me pop up my my YouTube handle, English with Jenn 123. This is my home here on YouTube, and I'm trying to build this channel. I teach English on Instagram, and I've been doing that for a number of years. And now I'm here on YouTube, and I want to make this my home, actually. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've got 1,000 followers now, which feels amazing. Hello, Nagar. Hello to you, Karina and Peru. Welcome. Having hello, Lorena. Welcome to you. So this is the second half of our topic, privacy. We now have 1,000 people to play with in theory. So I never know how to get more people to come and hang out with us, but I guess it will be a slow evolution. Hello, Michaela, my dear. Thank you for sharing your beautiful Christmas tree with me. Thank you. As those of you who maybe didn't see this yesterday, this is my tree. Well, it's our tree because we have a blended family. That means that, my partner, he has his family, I have my family, and we both do Christmas in sort of a different way. So I like white ornaments, and you can see in between there's like little red ornaments. And so his is the other side. It's much more colorful, and they use real candles. So I thank you, Nagar, darling. I will share a reel with this in the next couple of days showing both sides. I think it's kind of a crazy solution what we've come up with. We've divided the tree in half, and he has his side and I have my side. You have 1,000 followers. I do. Can you believe that you have to celebrate? Okay, no, I hope this is not cheesy. Well, it is. It's totally cheesy. But this weekend, I bought myself a present. And I said, when I reach 1,000 followers, then I'm going to wear this for the first time. So let's celebrate, right? Can I open this now? But I would just thought, I want to celebrate somehow. I'm a one-woman show. It's not like I have a boss who comes in and is like, yoo-hoo. So I have to do these things on my own. So I bought myself this headband. I thought it was so pretty, right? And it's very celebratory. And so I thought I would actually wear this when I get 1,000 followers. So let's see how it looks. I've never even tried it on. I have to put it over my ears. It always hurts my ears when it's behind. So yeah, this is my new 1,000 followers present. So yay. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for showing up every week, for making the move from Instagram over to YouTube. I am having issues with finding new people here on YouTube. So it is my Instagram folks who are very loyal. So thank you very much for doing this. I really, really, really appreciate it. And for those of you who don't already know me, you can find me right here. And probably in a year, I will learn which side is which. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you. Thank you. And I've got my new little sparkly headband. Here, I'll do this. It looks like it's kind of intentional because it is. Oh, you're sweet, dear. So let's see. Let's move on to our lesson. How about it, right? Let's move into privacy. And maybe I will do a poll of sorts here to see how you folks feel about this, because I will not go live on EWA next week. It's Christmas Day on Tuesday, and I promised my family that I would be part of the family. And so, but I do want to do, I would love to do like a live stream where I bring people on and come and hang out. I need to figure out how to do that. So I would do like a very easygoing live stream where people come on and talk about the holidays, talk about their holiday. And I don't have a piece of paper in it. Oh, I do have that. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Lorena. You're sweet. Thank you. So I have paper and I have a highlighter. So which day next week? Because I would love to do a quiz on Saturday. This Friday, I'm going to do a quiz. You could also tell me, let's start with that. Friday, I'm going to do our quiz. What time of the day? Anytime between 9 a.m. Central European time and 2 p.m. because we're going to be on the road again. So what day works for a quiz for you folks? I will try to, do it so that it works for people. 9 a.m. Right now, just to give you an idea, it's 3 p.m. here in Germany. I would be able to do an hour earlier. I know for my South American friends, that's not the best thing on earth this time sometimes. So my Peruvian friend, could you go live earlier? Maybe I could do it at 1 or at 12 on Friday, our quiz that works together with our topic this week with privacy. So yeah, so what do you think? Friday. And then next week, I will do a live stream probably on the 26th. The 26th. In Germany, that's still a holiday, but I need to work. And there I would probably do it in the morning. And it would be bringing people on, talking about Christmas, just Christmas related stuff. So Christmas stuff, Christmas/holiday for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas. I would do that in the morning. And then on the Saturday, because I want to pull my quizzes over to Saturdays. This is kind of going, I wish I could do polls here. I hope Santa brings me a laptop. And then I could do polls and all kinds of things. But yeah, he told me he wasn't, so okay. So Saturday, I would do the quiz at 9 a.m. So next Saturday, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday quiz. The 26th, I will go live. The time is open. And on Friday, this week, I will do the quiz at 9 a.m. Quiz at 9 a.m. if that suits everyone. I don't know. I will put these on Instagram and do a poll. I think that's the easiest thing. It's hard to answer these things. Sorry. Okay, let's move on to our lesson, folks. And let's see. I think that we're starting out with a banner. Let's see where we're going. I hope everybody is doing well. And yeah, let's just hop into it and get going. Let's see, where are we? Let me find Wednesday. All right. Here's our first question, and I seem to have an internet issue again for whatever reason. So let's see, what kind of things do people want to keep private? So you can think of yourself, you can think of people in general. What do people like to keep private? So what kinds of things would you say? Anything that comes to mind, things that people like to keep private. What can you say? And I'm going to drink my coffee while you're answering. For some reason, I have not had comments in I don't know, in 4 minutes. So I'm a little worried that somehow this is not working. But yeah, so what are some things? For me, what do I not like talking about? I talk about everything, really. So I'm pretty open. Their age, aha. Najud, is that you, my dear, with the beautiful flowers? Their bank account, exactly. Okay, so money, how much money they earn, how much money they have, what they pay for things, age, salary, okay. I always keep private my next goals. You do? Really, Nagar? You don't like to share those? I love sharing them because I feel like put it out there. I know it's like there are two camps, right? There's the team that's like, don't tell anybody, it's a secret. And then there's the camp and the team that say, share it with the world. I'm a share it with the world woman. All sensitive information. Hi, Nijit. Oh, good. I'm glad you were able to make it today. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, about the relationships. Okay, cool. And I don't recognize your name. Do we know each other from Instagram, or are you new here on YouTube with me? Let me get to know you, please. So people prefer to keep their activities private for personal and family safety. Yes. So I guess it also depends where you live. Maybe if it's an unsafe country, or maybe you have a lot of money, or your political system or so. Oh, nice to see you. Okay, so lots of reasons, lots of things. Maybe keep things private, like I don't know, like I talk a lot about my life. I talk about my kids, I talk about my partner, but it's always to a specific point, and I don't show faces, I don't show presence, I don't show lots of personal things. I don't know. Their struggles and their difficulties. Okay, my journal. I am from IT. Aha, okay, cool. And how do I pronounce your name, please? And welcome. I don't think I've recognized you here before on YouTube. Happy to have you on board. Very cool. Yeah, so lots of things like this that people like to keep private. And we are going to head on to our first slide and talk about things that are personal to us. So let's see. Here we go. All right, so personal things that relate to us. Let's start with, dang it, number one. If you feel like you have enough do you feel like you have enough privacy in your life? So in your life, at home, in general, do you have enough privacy? So what can you tell me? Do you feel like, and maybe we can put it into a percentage. 100% is that your privacy is totally respected. You feel like you can have a private life. And 0% is everyone in your family is in your business. So what percentage would you give your privacy in your life? Let me get rid of my banner here. That's a little cramped. There we go. That looks better. All right. Let's see. Hello, Brad. Hello, I'm fine. I hope you are too. How do you feel about in your life? Do you feel like that you have enough privacy, or do you feel like, you really need more? People need to get out of your private stuff, your private life. For me, I have privacy. I have a lot of privacy if I want it. I'm just not a very private person. No, never, but that is completely fine with me. Yeah, okay. So you never have privacy, but you don't mind. And that's another aspect. Sometimes we don't mind if we don't have privacy. Just chilling, okay? Good. Come and chill with us. Come and hang out. I believe I have around 90%. That's a high percentage. That's nice. Okay. So 90% privacy. I think I have 90% as well. Except when my kids are around. My kids are always in my business. They always want to know what I'm doing, which I don't really get because, I'm boring. So yeah, they're like, who are you writing? What are you doing? So Alessia, you have enough privacy. I went to a Winterfest or a Winterfest last night. It's a Christmas theme. Winterfest. So Winterfest. So right now I live in Germany, and there are so many Christmas markets. Every little area has its own Christmas market, and I keep wanting to take some video and I don't. So I apologize in advance. I will try to get to at least one Christmas market for us to take some video because they are so beautiful. Privacy is very important to you. Okay. Let's hop on to number 2. And what's one thing you do to ensure that your privacy, that others might find unnecessary? So some of us are a little sensitive to our privacy. So like maybe if you have a journal, you lock it or you hide it. Other things, maybe you have, a code on your phone and you live alone. Maybe that would be something. You can ride roller coasters, watch shows. Got me. They open certain rides though. Okay, so that's nice that you had rides at yours. In Hamburg, we have a Christmas market where there's a real Santa in a sleigh and he's on cables. And I think at 6 p.m., he goes along these cables in a sleigh. I've never seen it. So I need to try to get to the Christmas market at 6. Maybe I can do that today because my son is going to be late. We're going to celebrate Christmas with him today. And so maybe I can try to make it to the Christmas market and get Santa and his sleigh at the market. But so what kinds of things do you do to ensure that you have privacy? Yes, I journal on my phone and it has a face lock. Aha. Okay. So that's necessary for you to have your privacy. Maybe sometimes you go into a certain room or you leave the house to have a conversation. That could be a way of getting your privacy that might not be sort of normal per se. And number 3, moving on to that, how would you feel if someone checked your phone or computer without asking? So yeah, what can you tell me? Would that bother you? Would that not bother you? Yeah. For me, I don't think it would bother me. I don't really have secrets. So if somebody wanted to look, they could. I don't mind. Go for it. What for you? Would this bother you? I think like with Peter, if I were to like look into his phone, he would have a heart attack. That would be it. He would be so upset with me. Depends on the person. Yeah. But for me, I don't really mind. It's nice to see you, Brad, too. So let's see. So anybody else want to answer this question? Otherwise, we will continue on. As always, I have a ton of stuff planned for us. So I will get rid of this slide and yeah, and then let's brainstorm something. You don't care. Yeah, so I'm surprised, Alessia. I thought that you would be very sensitive with your information like that. Keep away from phones. I'm sure someone listens to our conversation. Yes. And let's listen. Let's say, follow Jenn on Instagram. I hope somebody's listening to this. What was it? I just screenshot something because it was one of these crazy things. Let me see what it was. Let me see if I can find it. It was so weird. I know. My son's company gave him a Christmas tree for Christmas. And I think this is crazy because he's 23, he lives in a small apartment, and he doesn't have any decorations for a tree. He would rather have that money. Don't give me a tree, give me the money. And so I was telling somebody how I found it incredibly ridiculous. And there's at least a good handful of Muslims that work at his company as well. And they have nothing to do with Christmas. So it's you're giving wine and a Christmas tree to people that don't have anything to do with it. And I was complaining. And then today on my threads in German, I got something that was posted to me, that was suggested to me, with a woman in German talking about how she was so happy that her son's company gave him a Christmas tree because she thought that's so nice that the kids don't have to pay for it, which is not my opinion. But I thought, how, of all the threads, of all the information that could be suggested to me, that specific thing was suggested to me, I was like, that's creepy. By the way, I got a lot. It just shows I understand and got you. Okay, no worries. You're fine. For me, my husband and my daughters can see my phone and my computer. I don't have secrets. Yeah, I'm just not into secrets. So yeah, so let's move on. And actually, I don't really have anything on here with this whole Google is listening thing. But if you have any examples like I just gave with me telling one person, probably Peter, how ridiculous this is that his company would give him a Christmas tree instead of money. So yeah, then maybe you can tell me some kind of, where then you get a thread or something suggested to you that has to do with that. So I'm always curious what kinds of things happen with people. So let's see, brainstorming. Yes. Would you act differently if you thought that somebody was watching you? Like, so let's say that you're in a restaurant and that you noticed someone was watching you. How would you change, or would you change something you're doing? What kinds of things would you do? Hello, Atlanta Stelio. Madame Philippi. Fine. Okay. Hello, hello. I thought that's a new name with a beautiful blue background. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, what kinds of things, like what would you do if you recognized that someone was staring at you? Would you change something about yourself? You know, I think you do become self-conscious. You're aware of certain things about yourself. So what would you change, would you say? I don't like this situation at all. Right. And I think in some cultures, it's extremely impolite. I would speak in a lower tone of voice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so lower your voice. Yeah, so they can't hear. I think I would do the same thing. Sometimes I feel like, you know, if somebody's staring at me or so, then I think, oh, they hear, especially in Germany, they hear that I'm speaking English. So instantly you stand out. And so I would lower my voice too, thinking maybe I'm speaking too loudly. If someone stares, I'd stare back. All right. Question number one, I like to keep people to keep their salary private. People like to keep their salary private. Yes, they do, for sure, right? That's something that you don't want to tell. Yeah. Can also, I think some companies have certain sorts of rules and regulations where you're not allowed to tell people your salary. I think that's interesting as well, but I think that should be our choice. My company gave us a gift, rice and honey. I am just grateful because my previous company never gave anything. Okay, rice and honey. Okay, probably risotto rice, I'm thinking, Alessio, and some nice honey. I hope you got a Christmas bonus though, too. Okay, so here are some examples that I would throw up with if I felt like somebody, like maybe these are things that we can talk about which ones of these you would do if you felt that somebody was staring at you. Let's take a look. Okay, so how would you act if you thought someone was watching you? So straighten up your posture. So when we can have bad posture where we're slumped over, which I think I do sometimes in my live streams, trying to kind of understand. But so straighten your posture. You can have good posture, bad posture. So straighten your posture, adjust your clothing. So make sure that everything is, you know, all nice and neat. Fix your hair. Smile subtly. And this word subtly, important. It's one of these words where you have a B in the middle of the word. We don't pronounce it. Subtly, subtly. So it's not subtly, it's subtly, subtly, which means in like a very, like a little minimal, like sorts of ways, like something, I don't know. Well, that's not subtle. Check your surroundings. So look around to see kind of like what's going on. Walk with purpose. So maybe if you're a lady at night and you're walking in the dark and you see somebody watching you, you might want to walk with confidence, walk with purpose. So you look like you're on a mission. If someone stares at me, I might give them my best profile uh, and leave. All right. Avoid fidgeting. So like so when you fidget, it's kind of like you're sort of doing this kind of thing, you know, where you do these little small movements that are just constant. Or like my daughter, she does this with her leg. This is fidgeting, fidgeting. So avoid fidgeting. I'm engrossed in something. So you're really into something. Hey, Yuki, welcome. Sorry you're late. I am swirling around here. Hello. I pretend or I actually call someone. That's a good one. So subtly. Yes, subtly is very not obvious, the opposite of obvious. To take a deep breath. I don't and engage with someone else, to start talking to someone else. So maybe it will get them away from Hello, Silver Starter. Oh, you're saying hi to Yuki. All right. So let's move on to our next point. We have 17 people here. That's awesome. Nice to have everyone here. If you happen to stumble across this live stream because YouTube suggested you, you and I go live every week. I'm going to put a couple of polls in our Instagram chat so I can find the best date for us to go live next week. Look for a safe environment. Alessio, nothing. I would just give them the cold shoulder. Ooh, if you give someone a cold shoulder, great idiom. Thank you. Okay, then let's move on to some phrasal verbs protecting privacy. Let's see what we can find. All right, so, oh, nope, that's government. Here we go. No, what on earth? Where are my phrasal verbs? I think I've switched things around. Let's see, we're gonna click through here a little bit. Aha, we'll go back to that one. So we have some phrasal verbs here. We have keep out of, shut off, lock up, hold back, and hide away. So these are phrasal verbs for protecting privacy. And then we have to isolate oneself or block others from contact. B, to secure something so it's safe or private. C, to prevent someone from entering or being involved. D, to share, not share, excuse me, certain information or emotions. And information is one of these tricky words, right? Because it's one piece of information and it's information, like one piece of information or two pieces of information. Information is one of these words that never gets an S. So information. And E, to go somewhere private to avoid being seen. So what works best with number one, to keep out of something? What can you tell me works best? And I have my little answers here because I can't think and teach at the same time. So what works best, excuse me, with keep out? What can you tell me? So, okay, Philippi, Madame is saying 1C, or Madame Philippi. I always call you Philippi, Madame Philippi. So 1C. So, yeah, exactly right. To prevent someone from entering or being involved. You can keep someone out of the conversation where you don't allow them to enter it, or keep someone out of whatever it is. Keep out of my business. Super, exactly. Yeah. Super. No guessing. Done it. Exactly right. Exactly. What about number two? Shut off. What can you tell me about that? What works best with that? Number one was C. What do we have for number two? What can you tell me? Number two. Shut off. Shut off. Any guesses? Otherwise, I will pop in with some answers here. So number one, oh, you mean number two? Yes, number two is I have a lot of privacy. I have 2 Instagrams, one personal and other for my business. I do too. And I have a personal one, but I never do anything on it. I think there's so many messages, but I never ever do anything with it. And it's just actually pictures of my feet. So it's really weird. That sounds really strange. Hold on. Let me rewind. Nothing weird. But I took, I'm not an internet person at all. I had a friend years ago who was like, you have to have an Instagram account. I think this was in 2014. And I'm like, why? Why would I want to have an Instagram account? And so I just, as a joke, I put this picture that I had taken where it was a mistake. And it's like my feet on this terrain that's kind of like shells kind of baked into something. And then I started having all of these pictures, finding pictures where there were floors that had really cool surfaces. So it's like my feet with shoes and weird surfaces, but I don't do anything on it. It was never important to me. And so, yes, I have private and personal. I'm giving too much information. Way too personal. I'm thinking of gotcha. Okay. So two, yes, let's move on. Two is A. So let's see. So to isolate oneself, um, or to block contact from others. What do we have for number three? Lock up. Let's go through these a little bit faster. Lock up. Number three is, number one was two, number three is, sorry, number one is C, number two is A, number three is B. Exactly. Exactly, folks. So number three, lock up. B, to secure something so it's safe or private. So if you have a journal, maybe you lock it up so that people can't read it. If you have letters from someone, you might lock them up. Jewelry, maybe you lock those things up as well. Number four, hold back. What can you tell me with number four? What can we go? What works well with that? Number one, C, 2A, 3B. So we have cab as a spelling. And number four, to hold back, which is something I don't do and I need to. He locked his suitcase in a safe. Yes, you can say he locked it up. Both are fine. Absolutely. So Lorena's saying D, and I think you are correct. Exactly. So to hold back is D. Exactly. Everyone who's guessing D, to not share certain information or emotions, right? It's to hold back. So you're not like an open book. You hold back. We had the opposite of that yesterday, I think, where with phrasal verbs. And last but not least, is, I think, E. Yes, so 5, E, to go somewhere private to avoid being seen. So when my kids were little, at some point they would drive me crazy during the day. Not every day, but some days. And I would need to find a little hide. You can find a hideaway. I should point this out. A hideaway is a place where you can go. It was usually the bathroom, in all honesty. But that didn't stop them either sometimes. He held back his emotions from his wife. Exactly. Or in this case, if you want to use the present tense, you would say he holds back his emotions from his wife. He does this all the time. So either he holds back or he held back. Great use of that. I love it when you'll use these in sentences. It's a really great way to make it stick. And to hide away is you can also do it to where you put something away. All right, let's move on to our next point, and we're going to go now to the government. All right, let's see what our old governments around the world have to do with our privacy. So, do you think that your government goes too far in collecting personal information? So, what do you think? Do you think it's okay? They're doing a good job? No worries, Mohammed. Happy to have you here. Our cat always does that, okay? So hides away somewhere far away and finds a little hideaway. Cats love to hide away in a box. So to have a hideaway there. What do you think? Do you think that your government gets too much information, the right amount of information, or maybe not enough information? I think my government gets too much information. Yeah. I think the States it's not, I don't know. It's too much. But now we all know about it. If you had asked me before Edward Snowden, I'd be like, no, everything is fine. But yeah, no, I think it's not. But maybe it's important. I don't know. I think lots of things can be sort of sold to us in different ways. Yes, as long as it's for a meaningful purpose. Okay, so governments getting information as long as it's used for a meaningful purpose, no problem. They collect way too far to collect our money and information. Right. Okay. So that's in France. And Najud, I don't remember where you are, my dear. Can you remind me, please, where you are? I'm curious. And so we can move on to number 2. If you're still answering number 1, then no problem, keep answering. We're just going to continue on. No, I don't think. So you don't think that they collect too much information. It's absolutely okay what they collect. Number 2, what's your opinion of surveillance cameras in public spaces? So you have these kind of cameras. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, never mind. I'm in Saudi. Okay, thank you, dear. Thank you. So yeah, what do you think? What do you feel like when you see these cameras in public spaces? Are you creeped out by them? Do you find them okay? Do they feel comforting? You know, some people might be comforted, like, okay, I know I'm safe. People, things are being tracked. The problem for me is the way they use our information. Okay. You mean like by selling it to companies and for different things? Netflix made a documentary, Mohammed, you and your Netflix documentaries, on how governments are received on societies. Do you mean how governments are seen by different societies, or how they get information from our society? I'm curious. They are useful in main circumstances. Okay, so you, Lorena, you feel that government gets information and they use it pretty wisely for the most part. They have enough information. It should be important to find tax evaders, but somehow they don't do it in Italy. Okay, exactly. Okay, selling it to third parties. Camera is working to keep public safety. So Yuki, you're happy that there's cameras. It doesn't freak you out. It feels like, okay, this is good. I think for me, like I feel safe sometimes, but then when I do notice them, it kind of reminds me of, I don't know, the society that we've become. Because I think for those of us who lived in a time when there were no cameras, it's a little strange to live in a world where there are cameras. It feels like the good old days are behind now. They're the old days. And it's this, you know, always being seen, or like there's a suspicion of everyone. And it didn't used to be that way. And so it feels for me a little sad, I have to say. Number 2, okay, I find the surveillance cameras useful and I feel safe. I have nothing to hide. Okay, yeah, that's also a thing. If you have nothing to hide, then what do you care? I don't mind them personally. Okay, so lots of people don't mind, not a big deal. Let's move on to number 3. How transparent should government be? What do you think? So how honest, how open, how transparent about what things should they be transparent? So meaning that you can see through it. I don't mind them at all. I feel secure with cameras. Thank you, Yuki. Yes. So I do and I don't. I feel a little, it feels a little big brothery to me. I want to hide. No, I have nothing to hide, but I mean, I don't know. It bothers me somehow a little bit. It depends on where I am, I guess. So do you think, I don't know if you can see me, I have a little bit of an internet issue today, but should governments be totally transparent, or are there some things that should remain private? And if some things should remain private, which things would you say should be private? Because right now we have this issue in the States, I don't know if you've heard about it, where they have these drones flying around New Jersey and California. And there's a lot of talk about that. And so like if the government should be open and honest about what that is, and if they shouldn't, I don't know. It's hard right now to know, what to feel right now. What do you think about that? Are there things in your country that you wish your government would be transparent about, or are some things too transparent? And I guess you're writing. It would be nice to have the government budget available for the community. Okay, so you can see exactly how taxpayer money is being spent. So that's not an option, I guess, in France. They should be transparent about the budgets, again, that security conditions and the safety of the people. For me, they should be totally transparent. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think there are some things like maybe if they are working on I don't know, some sort of weapon or so, you can't be transparent. But I'm trying to think of a peaceful application because that's just not a nice one to think of. But yeah, I guess with some things they can't be transparent or they shouldn't just because it protects the national security. But for the way that money is spent, and things like that, I think that it should be totally transparent. We should know what we're getting into, what our taxpayer money is being spent on, and not just, yeah. Japanese government should be transparent more for everything. Okay, so Yuki, you feel the Japanese government isn't as transparent as it should be. I take it from your comment. All right, then let's move on to our story for today. And if you have anything else you want to add to this, not a problem. Go ahead and add it. We'll read it, but just to kind of keep things flowing. We have a very busy lesson today, and yeah. I am from the Ukraine, and the government is very corrupt. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know if we know each other from YouTube or from Instagram, but I'm Jen, and I'm not sure what your name is. So yeah, let me know so that we can get to know each other. Thank you for sharing that, and I'm sorry to hear that. I think a lot of governments in the world are corrupt, and that is from a lack of transparency. So we see what happens with that when this situation happens. So let me find my story, and there we go. Okay, so here's our story. And for those of you who are new, there is not a right story or a wrong story. It's just your story. This is an option for you to be able to practice, excuse me, your language and have a little fun. Take a look at the picture. You can talk about the characters. You can talk about the situation. You can talk about why this happened, what's going to happen, lots of different things. This is an opportunity for you to be creative and to use the language as you like. Documentary coded bias. Is this the one where they show that coding is being coded with bias? I think I've seen this. It was really good. Okay. Hi, Terry. I'm Jen. Are you from Instagram or are you from YouTube? So I'm curious about that. Thank you, Terry, for letting me know what your name is. And let's write our story. Who are these people? What's going on? What do they find out? Anything that you want to add to this to practice your English, everything is correct. There's nothing wrong. I might help you with your language a little bit, but that's what I'm here for. So, and I love it when people make mistakes, because when you make a mistake and I am able to correct it, you're helping everyone, because quite often the mistakes that are made, other people make them as well. So interesting. Okay, so Brad, write a story. What do you think? What's going on? What's happening with a person with a yellow shirt on? What's happening with a person all in black? Who are these people? What are our characters? So live and learn. Oh, in this situation, maybe. Yeah. Oh, live and learn. You mean with making mistakes? Yes, exactly. Exactly. You got to live and learn. He just found out someone stole his credit card information and used it illegally. Yuki, what do you think that he purchased? He is astonished because someone asked his bank account to steal. So someone maybe accessed his bank account to steal his money. Unfortunately, this guy got his credit card cloned. Ooh, so cloned means there's a double of it, okay? There is a fingerprint in the background. Right. I'm trying to throw you off here a little bit. It looks like trouble. It does. It does look like trouble. It looks like big trouble. It looks like trouble I don't want to have. So let's see. So what do we think that he purchased? It does look like his credit card details got stolen by someone. How much money do you think was stolen? What is going to happen? Has this ever happened to you? He got hacked. Super word. Lorraine, I'm going to plop your little word up there. Hacked. He got hacked. We hear a lot of times this word used with life hacks to make life easier. If someone hacks your computer, though, That doesn't make your life easier. That makes your life hell. So you don't want to be hacked. The man in black is trying to see the boy's password. Aha. So he's trying to look over his shoulder and encrypt or decrypt, maybe? Decrypt, I think. Let me look this up. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think encrypt, if you crypt, I don't know. I'm just using these words that I don't even know. Let me take a look really quickly before I tell you Jenniferish instead of English. I think encrypt is when it becomes coded. And decrypt, let's see, encrypt. Maybe y'all know better than I do. Encrypted meaning to convert information into a code. Exactly. So decrypt. Exactly. Thank you, Alessio. So decrypt is when you get rid of the encryption. And I will write the word. Thank you. Encryption. Yes, there we go. Credit card without permission. He got robbed. Okay, so what do you think that he purchased? We can turn this more into sort of like a creative writing thing. Who did he buy something for? This actually happened to me a little bit last year. I wanted to buy a Christmas ornament for my partner's ex-wife. And I used his credit card. He wanted to kill me. And I had looked everywhere for this ornament and I found it in one place. And I used his credit card. And then the next day, everything was like Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. And he basically had to burn that credit card and start from scratch because it got somehow, hacked. Credit card fraud is all I can think of. What he purchased, when he purchased, yes. Someone enjoyed over $500 of Christmas shopping on his credit card. Yes, I don't know how people get away with this nowadays. I would think that there's like this digital footprint. So, I mean, I'm not smart enough for these things clearly, but hackers can do this. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. But I found the ornament this year and I didn't get my credit card hacked. So I'm happy about that. Let's move on to some idioms. It's hackers, exactly, hackers. So let's take a look at some idioms that are in regards to privacy. And let me get rid of Lorena's comment real quick. Hold on. Oops, how do I do that? I have to go back, find it. Thank you, Lorena, for hacked. And thank you, Alessio, for decrypt. And here we go with our idioms. So skeletons in the closet. I'm curious how many of these you know. You know I always love to know this, so let me know. Behind closed doors. Mind your own business, which someone just used at the beginning of the lesson today. Keep something under wraps. And these are all idioms that people really use. These are not obscure. These are ones that people use all the time. So A, to keep something secret or private. B, refers to secrets or private matter someone wants to keep hidden. C, a phrase to tell someone to respect your privacy and to not interfere. Interferes when someone gets into your business. They meddle in your business. D, refers to something happening privately or secretly. So what can you tell me? What works best with number one, skeletons in the closet? Oops, let's see. You know three, okay? You only know three. Twice, or two? I don't know, Yuki. Don't take free service. If you take free services, you are the service. Yeah, Mohammed, that's great advice. You got hacked twice. Oh, you poor thing. I was reading up backwards. So that's what happened last week to my best friend. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's so horrible and it feels so, it's just so unkind. So number one, Lorena is saying is D, and I'm going to look down. There's one Lorena that's a bit better. Everybody's saying D or B. Okay, Terry's saying B. Let's go with Terry. Terry's saying B, skeletons in the closet refers to secrets or private matters someone wants to keep hidden. All right. So if you have skeletons in your closet, it means that you have secrets that you hope no one ever learns about. Most people have skeletons in their closet. And when something happens and then you're like, he has skeletons in his closet, doesn't anymore. So that's how you use it. Then number 2, behind closed doors. What works best with number 2, behind closed doors? Let's see. Number 1 was B. Number 2, what can you tell me? Behind closed doors. Yuki, did you know this one, skeletons in your closet, or to have skeletons in the closet? Okay, Alessio, you're going with 2 is D. Let's go with Alessio. Exactly. Behind closed doors is D, referring to something happening privately or secretly. The meeting took place behind closed doors, meaning that nobody else participated. It was a private matter. Or let's talk about this topic behind closed doors, meaning let's not discuss it here. Let's separate ourselves and go somewhere else. It was new. Oh, really cool. I believe we are being watched all the time through our phones, but it's something we cannot avoid. I know we are, Karina. It's crazy. It's so scary. So yeah, I don't know. I need to start like programming positive things. So let's see. Then what do we have for number 3? To mind your own business. Somebody used this earlier. I do not remember who. Thank you, Nagar, my dear. So mind your own business is C, a phrase to tell someone to respect your privacy or not interfere. Now, I have to say, if you tell someone, mind your own business, it's a little harsh. So in this case, you would probably want to say, I prefer not to talk about that, or I don't feel comfortable talking about that. That would be a kinder way to say, mind your own business. To my kids, to my sister and brother, I would say mind your own business. But it's more harsh. Okay, so there are nicer ways of saying to mind your own business. If you would like to practice a nicer way of saying mind your own business in the comments, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we'll move on. It's not polite. No, it's not. So, I mean, and quite often we're not 100% polite with our families. So we might say that to our brothers or sisters or someone who we're really close to. Mind your own business. I don't want to tell you that. So there are other ways to say it. If you would like to add that, you're more than welcome to do so. We can do a little brainstorming with that. Number 4, last but not least, to keep something under wraps. And I'm not sure which one we have not done yet. It's A. So to keep something secret or private. So to keep something under wraps, if a company, like in Germany, you see cars all the time on the Autobahn, and they have this special weird kind of camouflage white and gray tape. It looks really weird, but they try to do that so that if there are people like spies from other companies trying to figure out what they're doing, it keeps it under wraps. This is a literal example, but you can say this, let's keep it under wraps. Let's not let anybody else know about this. It's a private topic. It's M. I don't know what M is. I think that's a typo. All right, let's move on then. And where are we headed? For sentences with this, they've kept their wedding plans under wraps for now, right? So they don't want people to know they're getting married. So I got you, Yuki. So they're keeping it under wraps for now. Later on, they will tell people, but for now, just don't tell anyone. Let's move on to some vocab, and I think these are going to be pretty easy. So we'll go through them right quickly as well. But as always, I love hearing when things are new or when you know things. I like to know how much is new to you. A quick favor, I see that we have 16 people here, so hello everyone. Not everyone's participating, and there's no problem, no pressure. Some people just watch, and I get it, no worries. But is there a way on here to like our live stream right now, just because I think that that tells the algorithm on YouTube that we are interesting. And that you are interested. And so if there's a possibility of doing that, I would be very grateful. And if not, then after the live, if you could like it, that would help out a lot. My numbers are kind of going down, and I'm trying to not focus on that, but it's a little hard sometimes. Anyway, vocabulary words. I lost someone. So one, consent, consent. And we say consent. Data protection, surveillance, surveillance. I'll say it again, long word. For my friends that have problems with L, not so easy. Surveillance, surveillance. And number 4, intrusion. Intrusion. I'm overtired. Oh, no worries, darling. You can always watch the replay or just go get a good night's sleep, sweetie. So A, close observation, often invading privacy. B, unwelcome interference. So again, we had interfere when somebody gets into the middle of something. I think it was interfere, not interrupt. B, unwelcome interference into someone's private matters. C, rules or measures to keep personal data secure. And D, permission for something to happen. All right, Alessio's on the ball and he's saying 1 is D, and you are correct. So consent, D, permission for something to happen. Lorena and Alessio, do you have this word in Italian? Is this the same word? I'm wondering if this is somehow Latin-based or not. So consent, I give my consent, I give my permission. I can give my consent. When my daughter was under 18, I needed to give consent for her to fly on a plane, for example. So yes, okay, I figured. I love it for y'all when you have these freebies. Yes, so consentiera. Okay, cool. It's hard to be in government. Sometimes they don't share everything to avoid scaring the population about something inevitable. I know, but it's like, I think sometimes it's better to know than to be surprised. I only know 2. Cool. So Michele, yes, it's consenso. Okay, very, very cool. From Latin. Okay, so my Latin-based friends here, or Latin language-based friends, it's going to be an easy one. And number 2, thank you, Alessio, keeping us on the ball. Data protection, thank you, Nagar. Is C, rules or measures to keep personal data secure. Data protection, thanks, Terry. And number 3, surveillance. What do we have for number 3? Surveillance. I'll say it a couple of times. It's kind of a long word. Surveillance, surveillance, surveillance. What do we have for 3? Surveillance. Maybe also a Latin-based word, don't know. So what do we have for number 3? What can you tell me? A. Thank you, Terry. So close observation, invading privacy, right? I think of like a detective, and they do a lot of surveillance where they watch people coming and going. Maybe a woman hires the detective to see if her husband is cheating, and he does surveillance where he sits back and he's got his coffee and his donut and he's ready to take pictures. I think I'm in 1990. Anyway, yes, so 3 is, at least my internet connection is wonky today. I'm sorry about that. Number 4, intrusion. So the last one that we have not used is B. So unwelcome interference into someone's private life. So number 4 is B, when someone enters into your life. And so they can, and this is also a nice adjective for a person who is always in your business. They can be intrusive. Someone who asks questions like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have a baby? When are you going to blah, blah, blah? You know, these are intrusive questions, and people can also be intrusive. So you can also use that word that way. We use that a lot in that context. I think more intrusive than intrusion. It can be an intrusion to be around an intrusive person. Yeah, they should be transparent about the budget for sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, so let's see. Let's move on to legal and ethic aspects about privacy. And let's see here. I think that's correct. Yes, legal. Okay, so how do you feel about tech companies collecting your data? Okay, because this is kind of a weird thing, right? Like if we use Google, if we use a Fitbit, if we use scanning cards like customer loyalty cards at shops, it's like we kind of get something, or well, Fitbit, you get something, Google, we get something, but they get a lot, right? So what do you think about this? How do you feel about tech companies getting your information? Yes, Najud, let's see. 2 was C, and 3 was A, and 4 is B. And I will share these slides on Instagram for you in the next couple of days. Okay? And if you want the slide, you can always write me and I can send it to you on Instagram. Not a problem. What do you think? 3 was A, exactly. The comments are coming in way later. Sorry about that. I don't know. I think my internet connection's a little strange. I don't feel comfortable with it. Okay. So does anybody have like one of these health tracking rings or a Fitbit or a smartwatch? Do you do any of that tracks your health? What do you feel about Google? What about customer loyalty cards? In Germany, we have one for a grocery store. And you can collect points every time you shop. So every euro you spend, you get whatever amount of points. And it's actually kind of cool because you can take the points to a department store and use them. So so I've been able to like buy makeup and things like that, but I didn't really want to give them all my information. So I lied about my age. Right now I'm currently about 35. and they gave you the option if you wanted to be like a duchess or or professor or a doctor or different things. So I gave myself the title Duchess in German. And so it's fun because sometimes I receive mail to Graf. So I think for me it's like, sure, I'll give you some information, but I'm going to not give you all the information. So I kind of socked it to them, I feel. I don't like one at all. Okay, you don't feel comfortable with it. Does anybody not have a problem with it? They're like, I see the benefits of being able to track my health. So I don't care. Let me know what you think. And have you ever done anything like that as well, where you had like a customer loyalty program and you kind of made up your own information? So Terry, not very well. Maybe I'm not young, so for me, it's not unusual. Okay. I have the same in Italy for grocery shops. Okay. If they see that you are not going there anymore, they will send you discounts. Ooh, that's nice. I hope you lied to them a little bit, at least, Alessia. I hope at least you're a doctor or a professor, or, that you're 82, so that it's not, 100%, they could just get what they want. It's annoying and scary sometimes. I agree. All right, let's move to number 2. Should people be punished for sharing someone else's private information without permission? Now, this gets into a totally tricky and sticky situation. I feel really bad for kids nowadays with social media, or with just technology, because they take pictures, they do things, and they don't think about the consequences. They don't understand it. They can't. It's sometimes hard for us adults, I think, sometimes to understand the consequences. So I know of a situation where a girl shared a photo of herself in a bikini to her boyfriend, and then they broke up, and he shared that photo, and he got in massive trouble. And of course, it wasn't okay for that boy to do that. But a lot of people, a lot of young people don't really understand the consequences of what they're doing. And so I feel bad for them. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on them to make judgment calls that are too difficult for them to make. Two, definitely. Okay. Yes, of course, with number two. I don't know if you know of a situation like that you would like to share where it's not so easy sometimes to navigate the 21st century. It's hard sometimes as an adult, and it can be doubly hard, I find, for the youth. And while you're answering or not answering, I will hop on to number three. And all the privacy is too long. We can't read all that every single time. For sure. Yes, I should have had that as a question. Does anybody ever read that stuff? New update. I'm like, just click. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I've sold my soul. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm signing. Does anybody read the little tiny fine print, we call that? All of the little tiny words at the bottom of these documents, these legal fine print, not fine art, print. That's what that's called. All of the tiny words that you have at the end of documents before you click accept. Yeah. And number three, to what extent do public officials have the right to privacy? And Terry, must be, but except in some cases that are some criminals. Okay. Of course, it's terrible. Hi, Soledad, dear. I didn't know you were here. Welcome. So, to what extent do public officials have a right to privacy? Like, what things do you think you need to know about a public official? Do you need to know their private life? Is that important? What aspects of their private life? It's impossible to read all of that, right? I agree. And there's no way. I mean, even if I had the patience, I wouldn't understand it. We call this language that is written in legal documents legalese. Legalese. I think it's with a Z. Yes, legalese. So it's like its own language, right? It's legal words, and it's like very difficult if you have not studied law to be able to understand the fine print in a contract. And usually the fine print in the contract is exactly where they get you. So Najud is saying 100% for sure that they have a right to privacy. I think so too. It used to be in the United States that a lot of politicians had and public officials had more privacy, that their private life was pretty private. But nowadays, I think because it can be sensationalized and it sells the newspapers, politicians' private lives are not very private. And I wonder sometimes because, if they make good decisions based on the economy, on the community, on lots of factors like that, then I don't know. I don't know how important their private life is. I don't know if I need to know that so much. But I think that times have changed and that has become very important. And that makes it even more difficult to find people who want to run for office. Privacy will become a luxury item. Yeah, an item, a luxury item. Yeah, definitely. If you're a public official. Okay, then let's see where we're headed. All right, then we're going to go on to famous people. So again, another thing. In my country, Ukraine, people must know nearly everything about politics. Most of them are very corrupt. I'm surprised to hear you say that. So they're corrupt in what way, Terry? What would you say? Yeah, okay. Let me know if you can. Let's move on to famous people. If you want to answer any other questions, you're always more than welcome to do so. I love hearing what you have to say. So we're on to fame. Fame. One, what worries do famous people have about their privacy? So what things do you think that they're worried about people finding out, or what kinds of things? 5 minutes and then I'm bored. Okay. Stealing budget money. Aha, okay. Okay, so that's where the corruption comes. They steal money from the budget. I think that's unfortunately not only in the Ukraine. I think that happens in many, many places. So, what things do famous people worry about when it comes to their privacy? I would think it would be a really horrible thing to be a famous person. I would not want that. In today's day and age, no thank you. Maybe 30 years ago, why not? But today, you have no privacy. There's a lot of fake news about famous people. Exactly. A lot of fake things happen, a lot of rumors. So that's when people talk and you don't know if it's true or not. They spread lies. Sometimes rumors can be true, though. No stress, Nagar. Yeah. So rumors, fake news. What else do you think that famous people are worried about when it comes to their privacy? I would imagine they have to have a paper shredder because people go through their garbage to find out information. Can you imagine someone going through your garbage to find out dirt on you? That would be so horrible. Everything you write, everything you do, shred, shred. It would be so annoying. You could never leave the house really without looking your best, because all the time you're being photographed from afar. And the second you look bad, that's the picture that's going to make it, you know? College and AI affected photography, collage and AI affected photography. Okay. Oh, you mean like that that they do like fake AI. What is that called? Not deep fakes. Deep fakes? Maybe deep fakes. I'm not sure. Where they create videos that look like people doing things, and that could be an issue. All right. Yeah. And I think so. Yeah, I think that you constantly have to have like a shell around you. I guess if you're at your home, you feel comfortable, but that would probably be the only place I would feel comfortable. And even then, you don't know, like if somebody has a long scope, like a long lens, they're worried about not being able to live their life as normal people. Many times they need bodyguards. Okay, yeah, so you have to live, they're worried about people stalking them, kidnapping them, kidnapping their children. They have to have bodyguards, lots of things like that. I would not want that. No, no. Okay, number 2. How has the concept of privacy for celebrities changed over time? Maybe you could tell me about this from the perspective of your country. Like, how has it changed? From the American perspective, I think there were always rumors about famous people, about their sexuality, about whether they were cheating or not, different things like that. But they stayed rumors. And nowadays, if there's a rumor, at some point it feels like it will be proven either true or false. There's no room for mystery. There's no room for doubt somehow. Number 2, Nagar, in the past, because of a lack of internet and social media, famous people had more privacy. I think so too. The kids in public getting bullied, their kids. And in this case, Najoo dear, you would write their, THEIR, classic mistake, their kids. Otherwise, that's place over there. It's probably a typo. I make the same mistake sometimes. Native speakers make this mistake all the time. There, and there. So no worries. Yeah, so they can get bullied. And good use of that word. In Germany, a lot of people mistake this word bullied for mobbed. MOBBED, mobbed. But that comes from like a mob, a big angry crowd of people. And the word for when people are abusive towards someone else, they bully them. Just in case just to clear that up. I know that German speakers have a problem with that. I don't know if that is with other people around the world. And let's see. And number 3, what responsibilities do fans have in respecting celebrities' privacy? Mobbed. Mobbed is the word that Germans use for bullied. It's a false friend. So they use this word. It doesn't make sense in English like that. We use it differently. It's bullied. So I guess that's not in Japan that way. What responsibility do we have? I guess like one, to maybe not buy the gossip magazines. You know, if they can't sell it, then they won't produce it. For me, I have to say that when I go to a doctor's office, no, I need to get educated. So I don't buy it. I never buy gossip magazines, but if I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, I'll check out the headlines like, okay, so that might be happening. So Kate and Megan are having a fight, or you know, I won't buy it, but I have to read it, like the headlines at least. So I guess that's one way of supporting celebrities' privacy. And sometimes I think that celebrities put certain things out there so that you do pick up on it because they want publicity. We should understand that celebrities are normal people. Yeah. And I guess maybe like in Lorena, in that sense, and understanding they're that they are normal people, if we see them in public, we give them privacy. You know, if they're having dinner with their family, then we should honor that maybe and not go up and talk to them so that they can have a normal life, or find a moment where it's not so intrusive, a word. So that you don't interfere so much, intrusive, to use that word. That might be an option as well. Okay. If people don't take pictures of them, they can't do anything about it. If people take us, if people take pictures about them, they can't do anything about it. That must be so maddening. Do not click gossip links. Tough one. I don't have TV at home, so I'm far away from gossip. Yes, then you're not supporting it. You're not part of the problem then, Yuki. Definitely not. All right, then let's move on to, let's see what time it is. Okay, we have some phrasal verbs and we have a little bit more to go. So we'll go through a little bit of this a little bit faster. Phrasal verbs we'll go through faster. Lots of phrasal verbs today. No worries about typos, darling. You're fine. Let's see. Okay, so giveaway, find out, spy on, sneak around, and pry into. I think we have some new ones here. So A, to secretly watch someone. B, to move secretly, often to observe someone. C, to try to find out about someone's privacy. D, to discover information, often something private. E, to reveal something that should have been kept private. So what works best with giveaway? And giveaway has like several meanings here. So, but this one, yeah, is something else. But can you tell me what works best with number one, giveaway? All right, 3, 4, and 5 are new. Awesome. 3, 4, and 5. Cool, cool, cool. So Lorena's saying 1 is E, and you are correct, of course. Number 1, E, to reveal something that should have been kept private. So if like a criminal accidentally leaves a fingerprint, they give themselves away, right? They leave something behind. Or if you accidentally say something and you reveal that you knew a secret, you gave it away. Exactly. Everyone's going with E, so we'll boogie on. Exactly. So number 2, to find out. What can you tell me with number 2? Find out. So I'm trying to, because I can't think in whatever at the same time. So number 2, to find out. So Lorena's saying 1 is D, and that is correct. Everybody's going with D. Do we have another D? So Nagar's going with D as well. And so number 2, to find out. D, to discover information, often something private. So maybe you found out about a secret because someone gave it away. So that works best. Those work pretty well together. And number 3, so Nagar, my dear, you're saying 3, 4, and 5 are new. So number 3, to spy on someone. What works best with number 3? Thank you, everyone, for guessing so nicely. So number 3, to spy on. Lorena's going with A, and Terry's going with A. So y'all are probably all right. So to secretly watch someone. So like a detective spies on someone. They do a surveillance where they watch the person, they spy on them. Exactly, Yuki. So number 4, to sneak around. All right, to sneak around. What can you tell me works best? So far we've had 1 is B, 2 is D, 3 is A, and 4 is either B or C. What can you tell me? Silver starred. So, B. All right. Any other guesses? To sneak around. Lorena's going with B as well. Okay. B. All right. Okay. So for those of you, which is everyone, guessing B, you are correct. To sneak around. B. To move secretly, often to observe someone. So you sneak around. So on Christmas, I've got my Christmas tree here. And on Christmas, my kids, if they were little, would definitely sneak around and try to find out where presents were hidden or if Santa Claus had come. So to quietly kind of move around so you're not heard. To kind of try to do it in secret. And last but not least, to pry into something. So when you pry something, you try to pull it apart. And to pry into something is C, to try to find out about someone's private life. And you could even say to someone, if someone is trying to find out information, they are trying to pry into your life. And you could use this also as a verb. Please stop prying into my business. So prying means that you're trying to get into someone's information, to open them up. Tell me about it. So stop prying, please. It's too close to home. So that would be a way that you could use that actually as a verb. Stop prying. And let's see, we're moving on now to security, what we can do to protect ourselves. So let's see, protection. Number 1, do you worry about hacking? And if so, what measures do you take to avoid it? So what can you tell me about hacking? I think, Najud, you said you've been hacked twice. So what kinds of things do you do now to protect yourself? What are things we can do to protect ourselves? What can you tell me? I am worried about hacking, but I have nothing to hack really. I don't like for nowadays, I never open up videos unless I really, 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 really know the person. Because I did get hacked, like a mini hack on Instagram, and it really messed things up for me on my account. So I don't open videos at all anymore. If I see that someone sent a video, I always say, I'm sorry, I can't open this. You'll have to find another way of sending this to me because I'm not opening it because I don't want to get hacked again. I've taken too much of my life to build that account. Sorry, dear, because I'm in my parents' home now. I couldn't find the picture that handmade board made by my husband. No worries, sweetie. No worries. You'll send it to me. No worries. I look forward to seeing it. I will definitely open that. So yeah, no worries. Okay, so let's see. Hacking. What can we do to protect ourselves so that we do not get hacked? I guess change passwords frequently would be something that one can do. Yes, I am worried. I should be more careful about sharing my sensitive information. I will try to be suspicious. Okay, so be suspicious, maybe be cautious. And that way, if you're cautious, then you use the suspicion in a positive way, I think. Number 2, what is the best way to create a password? Do you have a secret? I have a secret, but it's not a good one because I still cannot. Well, let's do 2 and 3 together. How good at you are remembering your passwords. I am the worst. You hate passwords. Me too. I do too. I really, yeah. And I try to get clever. Like I will go online. I sign up for every website. And then I create a password, and it's always something really dumb. But it sounds great at the time. Like, I love this sweater, $24 sign exclamation mark. But then I go back and I don't remember it. So I tried to create a story, but then I don't remember the story because the story is so random. You use safe Wi-Fi spot. Okay, so like at the airport or so, you do not use the Wi-Fi. At the airport, I take it, Yuki, you would only use it at your home, I guess, and not in public places. That's a good one. I've been guilty of using Wi-Fi wherever I can get it. I try not to do that anymore. I have a new package on my phone because by like the third day of the month, my package was gone. So I would just hook on to whatever would allow me to have Wi-Fi. But now I have a new package, so I'm a new woman. I have a book of passwords, but it's completely wrong. Because like you changed them and didn't update the book. Yeah, my password situation is a mess. My kids always laugh at my passwords because they're like, I hate this website 92 did, because like I've put it in 3 times, and at some point I get so annoyed I just start creating blasphemous passwords. I bring my pocket air Wi-Fi. Ooh, you have something like that? That's cool. That's very cool. I need that. I want that. Yeah. First things first from Santa. Let's see. So anybody have a good trick about creating passwords, remembering passwords? I have them written down as well. Yeah, but then you have to remember where you've written them down. So I don't know. What do you feel about like thumb and like face ID as your password? Do you believe in that, or does that freak you out? Do you use that? Yes, I always forget to update them, right? Yeah, same here. And then it's something so random that I will never remember. Ask for Santa. Yes, Santa. Let's see. Any other suggestions about how to remember passwords? Otherwise, we will scooch on to our next point. We are nearly an hour and a half into our lesson, and I would love for us to be able to finish this. Let's see where we are here. Hold on. Yes, we have 2 more points, and then we're off to the races. Maybe I would not forget passwords. Password. You prefer Face ID. Me too, right? It's like, yeah. But then when it doesn't recognize your face, I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm so asymmetrical. Maybe if I know, I wouldn't forget passwords. The last word I don't know. I'm sorry, Terry. Can you help me out there? Let's move on to our next point, or our banner here. Hold on, let me get rid of this real quick. We have 2 more things and then we're off. So what is privacy like viewed in your culture? And I ask this because we were recently in Amsterdam, and in Amsterdam, they have floor to ceiling windows. So really big windows, and you can look into everyone's home. The thing is that the Dutch have this unspoken rule that they do not look into each other's homes. But I'm not Dutch. And I find it interesting. And so I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. Wow, that's a beautiful home. Or I like that kitchen. Or I would have done that differently. So how is privacy viewed in your culture? Are people really private? Are there some things you do and don't do? Any kind of cultural sort of thing that you can share with me? I'm interested in. So Alessio, you write them down, but create it with very different characters. Okay, so you get really fancy. I would love to hear the way to remember my password. I'm the last person to remember it. No, Yuki, I'm the last. Step aside. So I never remember my passwords. It's the worst. And they're always very strange. So what about in your culture? What is privacy like? Like, I mean, do people have curtains? Do they not have curtains? Is it something where there's an unspoken rule, like in Amsterdam, where people do not have curtains on their windows? Everything is open, but you just respect each other's privacy. What is it like? What can you tell me? because I find this very interesting. And I'm trying to think of in the States. We are quite private, okay? In our country, high fences and curtains on the windows. Okay, so you create your privacy in the Ukraine. I gotcha. In the States too, I think. Like if you have a home, then you would, you create privacy as well. Depends on the home, right? If you have a very big home, then you're going to create more privacy. Yeah. And I'm trying to think in Germany though. In Hamburg, a lot of people don't do curtains on the windows. In fact, we took a hop on, hop off bus with some people a while ago. I'm sorry, twirling around here. And the guide said you can tell who's a real hamburger because those are the people who do not have curtains. So it's a little bit of this Dutch Amsterdam thing here, where people who don't have curtains, it's just expected that you don't look in. And so those are the people who are the real hamburgers. If people have curtains, they're from somewhere else in Germany. In the countryside, people are less sensitive to privacy. Right. You automatically have more of it, I guess. Okay. So let's see, then let's move on to our very last point of the day. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me so long. Please, if you don't mind, if after this lesson, if you can click like, it really helps to push. I'm being pushed out of this live stream by my internet. And we'll move on to home, family, and friends, and then we will call it a day. Do you have much privacy where you live? What can you tell me? What's privacy like in your country, in your neighborhood, where you live? We have curtains. Personally, I don't like very much curtains, but they are useful for privacy. Same. I would rather have the windows open and have all that light pouring in, or to have curtains that are just decorative on the side, just to kind of like, frame the window. But I don't know. Thank you so much for this wonderful life. You're so welcome. I'm so happy you were able to make it, Nagar. It's been a while, and I always love having you on board. So do you have privacy where you live? And I asked it at the beginning of the lesson, and I mean more like culturally. Yeah. And number two, what things do you need to keep private from your parents, but not from your best friend or partner? So we choose our privacy, right? With different people, how private. Sometimes we're very open with people, and sometimes we're more closed towards other people. So what kinds of things can you share with your partner or with your parents that you might not necessarily share with your parents, or vice versa? People in the countryside love rumors, and it's much faster than Twitter. Really? I would think people in the countryside stick to themselves, but maybe they need more entertainment. Maybe that's why, Yuki. That's hilarious. Yes, we have a lot of privacy. Okay. So what are some things that you would share with maybe your parents that you wouldn't share with your partner, and vice versa? I'm more open to my mom than my friends. Okay. So you tell her everything, or nearly everything. What would you say? What other yeah, with your relationships? And with the third one, we'll kind of just slowly kind of do all three, and then you can kind of pick and choose which ones you would like to do. Is it okay for parents to invade their children's privacy by eavesdropping? And this word we had in our story yesterday, and I will put out the the shadowing exercise in a couple of days with that story. And eavesdropping, when you listen in on someone without them knowing, tracking them, reading their emails, or checking their web history. What can you tell me? 2 and 3 we're working on as well. I am very open to my friends, but not to my family, except my husband. Okay. Totally agree. I'm not sure what you agree with Alessio. As a father, okay, maybe with Terry. As a father, I think children must not have privacy from parents. Yeah, it's hard nowadays, right? Like, for example, with tracking, I think I've told some of you before, but like Peter, my partner, he tracks me because I always get lost. So at some point, I wanted to drive somewhere, and he's like, let me just put a tracking thing on you, and that way I can find you. And if I see you're going the wrong way, I will call you. I'm like, perfect. And then we never changed it. And now I'm like, please don't take that off. Like, literally, like sometime in September, 3 months ago, whenever it was, I got lost and I called him and I said, please turn on the tracking thing, find me, and please navigate me out of where I am. So I am really happy about that tracking thing. I have no problem being tracked. With my kids, I don't track them. I think they're too old. They became too old. Otherwise, I probably would have. I don't know. It's creepy though. And checking their web history. Again, that was something that was not so high. My kids are 20 and 23, so they're older now. They were on like the cusp of all of that. So what do you think? Alessio agrees with Terry that children must not have privacy. Anybody else agree or disagree? Yes, parents have to check their children. They cannot have web privacy if they are minors. Yeah, I think so too. I think as of 18, no problem, but you just don't know what rabbit holes your kids can get into. But it's hard. I remember lots of times trying to set things up with my ex where the kids would only have like a specific amount of internet time per day, long time ago. Yeah, and it can become a battle. That's another thing where they don't have privacy because they're constantly consuming lots of different things. So thank you everyone for your time. We've been here for 1 hour and 39 minutes. I appreciate every single one of you for coming and hanging. And I feel really, for all of you who have kids that are teenagers now or younger, that's tough. It's definitely okay eavesdropping. There are too many dangers nowadays. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Thank you. Little hearts and hearty eyes and hugs to you, Nagar. Have fun with your family. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lorena. Thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out with me with my 1,000-follower headband. Yay, my little celebratory thing here. If you know anybody who would like to be part of our community, I would love to have more people come and join us as well. So invite your friends that are cool, not the nasty ones, like just the cool ones, so that we can all hang out and learn and share together. Thank you, Terry, very much. Ooh, oh wait, no, I don't want that. Go away. I made it go away. Thank you, Terry, for joining, and for Elif, hello to you. Take care, Alessio. I will send in a post, maybe in my membership chat, for people to vote when they would like to have the quiz on Friday. I am going to move the quiz to Saturdays. That will be next week, but we're on the road again. And I'm doing something really crazy tomorrow. My daughter was in America for like 3 weeks, and I miss her so much. And I'm dying to hear about her stories. She visited my family. And so I want to get the scoop. I want to hear everything. I want to hear how her time was. So tomorrow, I'm taking a train from Hamburg to Frankfurt, 5 hours, having lunch with her, and then I'm going to take a train from Frankfurt to Hamburg, 5 hours, so I can just spend some time with her. So I figured if I'm going to sit at home and work, I can sit on a train and work. So if you write me tomorrow, I will write you back. I will be on a train for 10 hours, stuck there, trying to get things done. But yes, anyway. So thank you. Have fun. Take care, everyone. And if you don't mind, if you can like this, write a comment or something so that this algorithm sees that our lessons are beneficial, even though my internet cuts in and out. Anyway, take care, guys. Bye.